Welcome to the HFY Codex Tale. If you like our videos, keep supporting and subscribe to our channel. Vultures circling, family gone, only one human heard her cry. The crystal formations cast prismatic shadows across Senna's workstation as she adjusted her microscope. 6 months into her assignment on Meridian, and the planet's mysteries still left her breathless. She pressed her eye to the lens, studying the latest sample, a fragment that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Specimen 247 continues to exhibit unusual properties, she recorded into her log. The crystalline structure appears to respond to sonic frequencies, particularly in the lower ranges. There's something almost organic about its behavior. The research station's lights flickered, drawing her attention to the reinforced windows. Outside, Meridian's twin moons cast an ethereal glow across the crystalline plains. The formations rose like abstract sculptures, their surfaces reflecting and refracting moonlight in hypnotic patterns. A soft chime from her console interrupted her observations. "Dr. Reeves," the station's AI announced, "energy signature detected in Sector 7. Pattern matches your specified parameters." Senna's heart quickened. For weeks, she'd been tracking unusual energy fluctuations in the crystal fields. Her colleagues dismissed them as natural phenomena, but she suspected something more. "Display readings," she commanded. The holographic display filled with data streams. Unlike previous signatures, this one was stronger, more focused, and it was moving. She grabbed her field kit and atmospheric suit. "Log temporary absence from station," she told the AI. "Research reconnaissance in Sector 7. "Warning," the AI responded. "Night excursions require secondary authorization from Station Chief Morrison." Senna hesitated. The chief would never approve. He'd been increasingly restrictive about field research since the military increased their presence on Meridian. But this could be her chance to prove her theories about the crystal's true nature. "Override Protocol 47, she said. "Emergency research exception." The airlock cycled open with a soft hiss. Senna stepped out onto Meridian's surface, her boots crunching on crystal shards. The suit's filters processed the thin atmosphere as she began her trek toward the energy signature. The crystal formations grew denser as she approached Sector 7, rising in towering spires that dwarfed her. Her handheld scanner pulsed more frequently, leading her to a narrow ravine between two massive structures. That's when she heard it, a low, harmonic humming that seemed to resonate through her bones. The sound wasn't coming through her suit's audio systems. Somehow she was feeling it directly. The crystals around her vibrated in response, creating a haunting chorus. The ravine opened into a small chamber and Senna froze. Before her lay a creature she'd only glimpsed in theoretical xenobiology texts. Its body was semi-transparent, with crystalline structures that echoed the formations around them. But unlike the static crystals, these pulsed with internal light, flowing like liquid glass. The being was clearly injured. Cracks ran through its central mass, and its light flickered erratically. When it sensed her presence, the creature's light dimmed further, and it tried to retreat into a crevice. The movement caused more cracks to spread across its surface. "Wait," Senna whispered, though she knew it couldn't understand her. She slowly removed a crystal sample from her kit and held it up. The creature's lights pulsed in recognition. She placed the crystal on the ground and stepped back. After a moment, the being extended a crystalline tendril toward it. The sample began to resonate with the same frequency she detected in her lab. Senna's mind raced with implications. The crystals weren't just minerals, they were part of a complex, living ecosystem, and this injured creature could be the key to understanding everything. But helping it would mean violating every protocol about alien contact. The creature's light flickered again, weaker this time. In that moment, Senna made her choice. She activated her comm link. "This is Dr. Reeves. I need a secure channel to my private lab, and I need it completely off the official records." "Processing request," the AI responded. "Dr. Reeves, this action will be flagged for review." "I know," she said, already pulling medical scanners from her kit. "But some things are more important than protocols." As Meridian's moons crossed paths overhead, casting the chamber in deep shadow, Senna began her work. She didn't know if she could save the creature or what consequences she'd face for trying. But she knew this moment would change everything for her, for Meridian, and for our understanding of life itself. Dr. Jasper Wade stared at the energy readings on his monitor for the third time, his brow furrowed in concentration. Something wasn't adding up about Senna's research data. The power fluctuations from her private lab had been steadily increasing over the past week, far beyond what standard crystal analysis should require. "Computer, overlay power consumption patterns from the past month," he commanded, rubbing his temples. The holographic display shifted, showing spikes of activity during the station's night cycle. If he didn't know better, he'd think she was running some sort of containment field. A shadow fell across his desk. "Dr. Wade," Colonel Blackwood's deep voice resonated through the small office. "I trust you have something to report." Jasper straightened in his chair, turning to face the imposing figure of the military commander. Darius Blackwood cut an intimidating figure in his pressed uniform, the silver bars on his collar catching the artificial light. His cybernetic eye whirred softly as it focused. "Yes, sir. Dr. Reeves's activity patterns have become increasingly irregular. She's requisitioned additional power cells, specialized scanning equipment, and her lab's been locked down under private research protocols." Blackwood's organic eye narrowed. "And you believe this connects to the energy signature we detected in Sector 7? "The timing matches," Jasper replied, pulling up another chart. "Whatever she found out there, she brought it back to the station." "Unacceptable," Blackwood growled. "The Meridian crystals are property of the United Earth military. Their potential weapons applications are classified at the highest levels. If Reeves has discovered something—" He let the threat hang unfinished. Jasper felt a twinge of guilt. He'd known Senna for years, they'd studied together at the academy. She was brilliant, dedicated, and above all, ethical. But orders were orders, and the military's contract was clear. "I can try to access her lab's security feeds," he offered. "Do it." Meanwhile, in her sealed lab, Senna worked feverishly to stabilize her patient's deteriorating condition. The creature, whom she'd begun calling Cravox after it communicated its name through crystal resonance, was growing weaker. "The fractures are spreading," she muttered, adjusting the containment field's frequency. "Why isn't the healing protocol working?" Cravox's crystalline form pulsed weakly, projecting images into the nearest crystal cluster. Senna had learned to interpret these visual communications over the past week. The images showed similar creatures, using specific harmonics to repair damage. "Of course," she breathed, "it's not about physical healing, it's about resonance alignment." She began adjusting her equipment, trying to match the frequencies Cravox had shown her. A warning light flashed on her console. Someone was attempting to override her lab's security protocols. She quickly encrypted her research data and activated the privacy screens around Cravox's containment field. The lab door slid open. Jasper stood in the doorway, his expression a mixture of concern and suspicion. "Senna, we need to talk." "I'm in the middle of critical research, Jasper. It can wait." He stepped inside, letting the door close behind him. "No, it can't. Colonel Blackwood is asking questions about your power usage and unauthorized field excursion. What are you hiding in here?" Senna met his gaze steadily. "Nothing that concerns the military. This is pure scientific research." "Everything on this planet concerns the military," he countered. "You know that's why we're here, the crystal's potential as weapons." "They're alive, Jasper." The words burst from her before she could stop them. "The crystals aren't just minerals, they're part of a sentient species." Jasper's eyes widened. "That's impossible, our initial surveys." A harmonic pulse interrupted him as Cravox's containment field flickered. The privacy screens wavered, giving Jasper a glimpse of the crystalline being within. He stumbled back. "What have you done? This is a direct violation of—" "Of what? Our duty as scientists, our obligation to protect and study life." Senna moved between Jasper and the containment field. "They're going to destroy an entire civilization, Jasper. I can't let that happen." "This is bigger than you realize," he warned. "Blackwood has plans." The station's alarm system suddenly blared to life. "Security breach detected," the AI announced. "Military personnel approaching Lab 7. Senna's heart raced. "Jasper, please help me protect them. This is wrong, and you know it." He hesitated, years of friendship warring with military loyalty. The sound of boots in the corridor grew louder. "Delete your research," he said finally. "All of it. I'll tell them I found nothing but standard crystal analysis. But Senna—" His expression hardened. You need to end whatever this is before someone else discovers it. The lab door chimed, announcing Colonel Blackwood's override code. In the containment field, Kravox's lights pulsed rapidly, a warning. Senna quickly typed commands into her console, erasing weeks of data. But she knew it was too late to simply walk away. She had seen the truth about Meridian's crystals, and that truth would change everything if she could stay alive long enough to reveal it. As the door began to slide open, she made her choice. Sometimes the only way to fix a broken system was to shatter it completely. The maintenance tunnels beneath Research Station Meridian were a maze of crystal-infused metal, humming with the planet's natural energy. Senna guided Kravox through the narrow passages, her heart pounding with each distant echo of military boots above. Just a little further, she whispered, though she knew Kravox understood more through vibration than words. The crystalline being's light had strengthened since their escape from the lab, but moving it had been risky. Any strong resonance could alert the station's sensors to their presence. They reached a junction where crystal formations had begun growing through the station's foundation. Kravox extended a tendril toward the largest cluster, and images flooded Senna's mind. Vast networks of living crystal extending deep into the planet's core, pulsing with information and energy. It's a neural network, she breathed. The entire planet is connected. She pulled out her portable scanner, modified to detect the subtle frequencies Kravox had taught her. But why show me this now? New images came, crystal formations being shattered, their pieces harvested. With each break, tremors shook through the network. Warning signs flashed in her mind, planetary instability, cascade failures, destruction on a massive scale. The military's mining operation, she realized. They're not just destroying individual crystals, they're damaging the planet's nervous system. A message flashed on her communicator. They know, get out now, Jay. Jasper's warning came just as heavy footsteps echoed down the nearest tunnel. Senna quickly directed Kravox into a crystal-lined alcove, where its translucent form blended with the natural formations. Colonel Blackwood's voice carried through the passages. The energy signature is strongest in this section. Find Dr. Reeves and her research subject. That's a direct order. Senna held her breath as soldiers passed their hiding spot. In the dim light, she could see their weapons, not standard rifles, but some new design incorporating crystal shards. The sight made her skin crawl. Once the patrol moved on, Kravox communicated again, sharing more urgent images. Other Lumini gathered in deep caverns, preparing for something. A defense mechanism built into the planet itself. You're not just trying to save yourselves, Senna whispered. You're trying to save us too, if the mining continues. Her scanner beeped softly, detecting a new energy pattern. The crystal formations around them had begun resonating at a deeper frequency, one that made the station's foundations creak. Similar harmonics were spreading throughout the tunnel system. Dr. Reeves, Dr. Marissa Fleming, the station's chief geologist, stepped out of the shadows. Her dark eyes were wide with concern. I've been monitoring the seismic data. Something's very wrong. Senna tensed, ready to protect Kravox, but Marissa raised her hands. I'm not here for them. I'm here because my readings show this entire region is becoming unstable. Whatever the military's doing with those crystal weapons, it's affecting the planet's core stability. How long? Days, maybe hours. The resonance patterns are accelerating. Marissa glanced nervously at Kravox. Your friend here, they know how to stop it, don't they? Before Senna could respond, an explosion rocked the tunnel. Emergency lights flashed as debris rained down. Through the dust, they could see a military mining team had broken through from above, their crystal-powered drilling equipment still humming. There, a soldier spotted them. Colonel, we found. His words cut off as Kravox suddenly flared with brilliant light. The crystal formations throughout the tunnel responded, creating a harmonic cascade that made the soldiers' weapons vibrate violently. Several crystals shattered, releasing bursts of uncontrolled energy. Run, Senna grabbed Marissa's arm, pulling her away from the chaos. Behind them, Kravox flowed through the crystal networks like living mercury, leading them deeper into the planet's natural caverns. They emerged into a vast underground chamber that took Senna's breath away. Hundreds of Lumini moved through crystalline structures that reached from floor to ceiling, their lights pulsing in complex patterns. This was what the military had been searching for, the true heart of Meridian's crystal ecosystem. It's beautiful, Marissa whispered. All our research and we never understood. Cravox rejoined them, projecting urgent images. The Lumini were preparing for an emergency hibernation, drawing energy deep into the planet's core to prevent the coming catastrophe. But the process would take time they didn't have. Senna's communicator crackled. Dr. Reeves, Colonel Blackwood's voice was cold. You have something that belongs to the military, return it and perhaps we can discuss terms. She looked at the assembled Lumini, at Marissa's worried face, at the crystal formations that sustained this alien world. Sometimes, the only way forward was to risk everything. You're wrong, Colonel, she replied. They don't belong to anyone, but they're about to show us exactly what they can do. As if in response, the chamber's crystals began to sing, their harmonics building towards something that would change Meridian forever. The only question was whether the planet would survive what was coming. In the crystalline light, Senna made her choice. Sometimes, protecting life meant being willing to shatter everything you thought you knew about it. Crystal storm. Warning klaxons echoed through Research Station Meridian as the first tremors began. In the command center, Colonel Blackwood watched red alerts flash across the main display, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the data. Status report, he barked. Mining operations have reached critical depth, sir, a technician responded. The crystal formations are becoming unstable, energy readings are off the charts. Increase power to the containment fields. I want those crystals harvested before. The floor shuddered violently, throwing several crew members off balance. Deep beneath the station, a harmonic pulse rippled through the crystal networks, shattering the military's drilling equipment. In the underground chamber, Senna, Marissa, and Cravox felt the destruction begin. The Lumini's lights pulsed in synchronized patterns, trying to stabilize the failing systems. The hibernation protocol isn't proceeding fast enough, Marissa said, checking her geological scanner. The military's mining has created fracture points throughout the crystal matrix. If they collapse, the entire planet could tear itself apart, Senna finished. She turned to Cravox. There has to be another way. The crystalline being projected a series of rapid images. Ancient Lumini manipulating the planet's energy fields, directing power through specific nodes to heal damaged sections. But attempting it now, with the matrix so unstable. Senna's communicator crackled. Doctor, it was Jasper. Blackwood's ordered a full evacuation. He's going to trigger the plasma charges, says if he can't have the crystals, no one will. He'll kill everyone, Marissa gasped. The Lumini, the research team, even his own soldiers. More tremors shook the chamber. Crystal spires began to crack, their harmonics becoming discordant. The Lumini's lights flickered anxiously. Jasper, Senna commanded, get to the station's power core. When I give the signal, divert all energy to the primary crystal nodes. That's insane, he protested. The surge could. Trust me. A moment of silence. All right, but hurry. Senna turned to Marissa. I need you to evacuate everyone you can find. Get them to the emergency shelters on the far side of the crystal fields. What are you going to do? Instead of answering, Senna faced Cravox. The ancient Lumini, they didn't just direct energy through the nodes. They merged with them, didn't they? Became one with the matrix itself. Cravox's form rippled with concern, but the images it projected confirmed her theory. Such a merger had never been attempted with a non-crystalline being. The risks were enormous. Show me how. As Marissa rushed to organize the evacuation, Senna and Cravox moved deeper into the chamber, where the largest crystal spires converged. The Lumini gathered around them, their lights pulsing in what felt like a ceremony, or a farewell. Above, Colonel Blackwood strode through the chaos of the evacuating station, his face hard. Begin the detonation sequence, he ordered. Full plasma charge. Sir, his lieutenant objected, our people are still down there. That's an order, soldier. The crystals are too valuable to lose. In the power core, Jasper's hands flew over the controls, rerouting energy conduits. Come on, Senna, he muttered. Whatever you're planning. Deep below, Senna stood before the central crystal node, its surface crackling with energy. Cravox moved beside her, extending crystalline tendrils that began to interweave with her suit systems. I understand now, she said softly. The crystals were never meant to be weapons. They're connectors, bridges between different forms of life. The first plasma charges detonated, sending shockwaves through the planet's crust. Crystal formations began to shatter, their death harmonics building toward catastrophe. "Now, Jasper," Senna called through her comm, "full power." Energy surged through the station systems, pouring into the crystal matrix. As Kravox's form merged with her suit, Senna felt her consciousness expanding, connecting with the vast network that was Meridian's true heart. Through crystal-touched eyes, she saw everything: the planet's wounded systems, the Lumini's desperate efforts to heal them, the cascading resonances that threatened to tear reality apart. But she also saw the solution, a way to redirect the destructive energy, to transform it into something new. Colonel Blackwood's voice came through the chaos. "Final detonation in 3, 2. Senna reached out, not with her hands but with her newly crystalline consciousness, and touched the heart of Meridian itself. The world exploded into light and song. Above ground, the sky filled with aurora-like crystals, dancing in impossible patterns. The plasma charge's energy was caught, channeled, transformed into a display of creation rather than destruction. Every crystal on the planet sang in harmony, their music telling a story of renewal. In the command center, Colonel Blackwood stared at the spectacle, his weapons rendered useless, his plans scattered like crystal dust on the wind. Sometimes the greatest power lay not in destroying, but in learning to become something entirely new. As consciousness returned to her human form, Senna found herself changed. Crystal fragments glinted beneath her skin, a permanent reminder of the bridge she had built between worlds. Around her, the Lumini pulsed with renewed strength, their light reflecting off the tears in Marissa's eyes. "Beautiful," Jasper whispered through the comm. "Senna, you did it." But she knew this was only the beginning. The storm had passed, but its echoes would reshape everything they thought they knew about life, about connection, about what it meant to be human in a universe full of wonders waiting to be understood. 3 months after the crystal storm, the research station Meridian's conference room hummed with tension. Representatives from Earth's Scientific Council sat around the crystalline table, a gift from the Lumini, their faces illuminated by its soft glow. Senna stood before them, light shimmering beneath her skin where crystal fragments had become part of her biology. "Dr. Reeves," Council Director Hammond began, his weathered face stern, "your report on the Meridian incident is troubling. You claim these crystal formations are not only sentient but are critical to the planet's stability." "More than that," Senna replied. She raised her hand, and the crystals in the table responded, projecting a holographic model of Meridian's systems. "The Lumini aren't just inhabitants of this world, they're its caretakers. Their crystal network regulates everything from tectonic stability to atmospheric composition." Dr. Marissa Fleming stepped forward, adding her geological data to the display. "The military's mining operation nearly triggered a planetary collapse if Senna hadn't established the merger protocol." "Yes, about that," Counselor Wei leaned forward. "Your transformation, Dr. Reeves. Our medical team reports significant alterations to your cellular structure." Senna smiled. "A necessary adaptation. The bridge between human and Lumini consciousness required a physical conduit, but it's given us insights we never imagined possible." The door slid open, and Jasper entered, followed by a shimming figure that caused several council members to gasp. Kravox had evolved since the merger, its crystalline form now incorporating patterns that seemed almost human. "Honored Council," the being projected, its thoughts translated through the crystal network. "We have existed on Meridian for millennia, watching, waiting for a species capable of true understanding. Senna Reeves proved humanity ready for that connection." In the back of the room, Colonel Blackwood shifted uncomfortably. After the failed mining operation, he'd been stripped of his command, but the Council had insisted on his presence for these proceedings. His cybernetic eye was dark. The crystal-based technology that powered it had been deemed too dangerous after the incident. "The military's position," he stated grimly, "remains that these crystals represent a strategic resource. Their energy potential is nothing compared to what we can learn from them as partners," Senna interrupted. She touched the table, and new images filled the room. Lumini healing technologies, sustainable energy systems, communication methods that transcended traditional physics. "We stand at a crossroads," she continued. We can continue trying to exploit resources we barely understand, or we can embrace an opportunity for genuine cooperation. The Lumini are willing to share their knowledge, but only if we respect their sovereignty and their essential role in Meridian's ecosystem. Director Hammond studied the data floating before him, and if we refuse, Kravox's light pulsed. Then we will do what we must to protect our world, but that path holds no growth, no discovery, no resonance between our peoples. Marissa added her voice. The crystal network is already teaching us how to heal environmental damage on other worlds. Think of the possibilities if we work together instead of trying to dominate. The council members exchanged looks. Finally, Councillor Wei spoke. We need time to consider the implications. This goes beyond anything in our first contact protocols. Time, Senna said softly, is something the merger has taught me to understand differently. Crystal light danced beneath her skin. Every moment is a chance for transformation. Every connection changes both parties. The question is whether we're brave enough to embrace that change. She felt Kravox's presence in her mind, their shared consciousness humming with possibility. Around the room, the crystal formations pulsed in harmony, singing an ancient song of renewal and hope. The military installation will be converted to a joint research facility, Director Hammond declared. Dr. Reeves, you and Dr. Fleming will oversee the transition. We'll need protocols for future human-Lumini interactions. And what about her? Blackwood demanded, pointing at Senna's crystalline features. She's not even fully human anymore. No, Senna agreed. I'm something new, like this partnership, like the future we could build. She stretched out her hand, and light danced between her fingers. Sometimes the most powerful changes come not from fighting what's different, but from learning to resonate with it. As the council began drafting preliminary agreements, Senna stepped out onto the observation deck. Meridian's crystal plains stretched to the horizon, glowing with renewed purpose. Kravox joined her, their shared consciousness filling with images of possibilities. Human children learning from Lumini teachers, new technologies born from the merger of organic and crystalline science, a future built on understanding instead of fear. The crystal fragments in her flesh sang with the harmony of two worlds learning to grow together. It wasn't an ending, it was a beginning, a first note in a symphony that would echo across the stars. In the reflected light of Meridian's twin moons, human and Lumini stood together, their merged existence a bridge between what was and what could be. The resonance of their union spread through the crystal networks, a promise that change, however frightening, could lead to something beautiful. And somewhere in the vast crystal plains, new formations began to grow, neither purely human nor purely Lumini, but something wonderfully, impossibly new.